friends, it is Stacia and welcome back to my channel for a new reading vlog. So today we are back with the book of the month backlist. Yeah, so I bunched all of these books together because they're all thrillers that have very high ratings, and they also all have dark covers, which is very ironic because my last book of the month backlist vlog was thrillers with blue covers, and these are all thrillers with blue dark-ish colors. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys super quick the 3 books that I plan on reading. So the first book I plan on reading is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. All I know about this is that it's a book about a podcast. I believe she has some sort of podcast, and she's going to this trial to kind of do coverage on this trial, and then someone approaches her about maybe their missing sister, or someone murdered her sister and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. So she enlists the help of this podcast to try to get to the bottom of that. That's all I know about this. I could also be wrong, so there's that. Then I have Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier, and I actually do not know what this is about at all, so I have no feedback, but excited. And then the last one I have is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. I also do not know what this one is about, so we will see what this one is about. But yeah, so those are the 3 books of the vlog. I think I'm going to start with The Night Swim. I'm going to try to get the audiobook for this because I heard the audiobook is very well done, especially with the podcast element. So I'll update you guys again when I'm 50% of the way through. Hello friends, I look a mess. I'm sweating, please ignore it. We're going through a heat wave here in California and don't know if I'm gonna get through it. Nonetheless, I'm here because I got to 50% of The Night Swim and I am enjoying it. It is interesting. I'm just not sure the relevance of the other story. So like Hannah's story, I'm not sure if it'll overlap with the current case that Rachel is working on, but I am listening to the audiobook and I am enjoying it. I do like the full cast sort of thing, and the podcast element is really fun. But yeah, so I have a bit more of a grip on what's going on now, so I'll give you a little bit more of a synopsis. So this book follows Rachel, hosts this podcast, and usually she just goes into like these cases that have already been solved and take a look into them again. But for her 3rd season of her podcast, she decides to choose an ongoing trial. So she goes to this small town to cover this trial of sexual assault and rape between the like golden boy sports guy and the granddaughter of the police chief. So this small town is very close knit. A lot of people knows everyone. They all grew up together, that sort of thing. And then apart from that case, we also have another person named Hannah who is contacting Rachel to try to get her help to look into her sister's case. Her sister died like 25 years ago or so, and while everyone's saying that it was an accident, you know, it just happened, Hannah does not believe that was the case. So Hannah is trying to ask Rachel for her help to look into this case, and Rachel kind of looks into it, and she is starting to find some like irregularities. So she is trying to get into contact with Hannah while simultaneously covering the new ongoing trial. So that's what we're looking at. It is interesting, but like I said, Hannah's story seems a bit like random at times. I'm sure it'll all come together and all make sense in the end, but as of right now, Hannah's story seems a bit scattered. I am interested in both though. I am interested in Hannah's story with her sister as well as the current day ongoing trial. But yeah, so I am enjoying it. Like I said, the audiobook is super fun. And yeah, so I'll update you guys again when I finish that book. Hello friends, I'm back with an update because last night I finished The Night Swim by Megan Golden. Absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. I liked the way like everything ended up interconnecting and like the overall resolution of both of the cases. It was super interesting. It was also really like sad to see like Hannah's story as well as her sisters, and just seeing like these victims. So strong trigger warning for sexual assault and rape. That is the main focus of these books, or this book. So I would just keep an eye out if you are trying to read this book. But yeah, so I super enjoyed it. I thought that the writing was super engaging. I loved the format of it, where we got two different perspectives, where Hannah's is kind of like a story being told of the past, and Rachel is trying to figure out these cases, as well as the actual podcast sprinkled in a few chapters, which I thought it was so interesting. I really loved it. 5 stars, super fun. So that is the first book done for the vlog, and I do have 2 more. It was really hard to figure out what I wanted to read next, but I think what I'm going to go with is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. I'm honestly not entirely sure what this one is about. I believe that it's a copycat killer. So some odd years ago there was like a killer, and then I think like now fast forward to the present day, the killer's probably doing like the same things that they did in the past. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that it is a copycat killer. Everyone loves it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do audio or just read it physically. I might do audio because it is a bit of a longer one at 350 pages, but we'll see. And then yeah, I'll update you guys when I do get 50% of the way through of my thoughts and an actual synopsis. Hello friends, here with an update because I'm 50% into A Flicker in the Dark, and I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely curious to see what is happening. I have a couple theories on like who it could be, but I'm not entirely sure. We don't really have much answers for anything. But basically this follows our main character, Chloe, and when she was like 12, I believe. Yeah. So when she was 12, there were 6 girls in her like town who were murdered, and they figured it out, and that was her father who had done it. So obviously the girl has trust issues, like that's a whole mess. But anyways, it's 20 years later now, and so her father's in jail, stuff like that, but she thinks that now there is a copycat murderer murdering new girls as kind of like a nod to her father. She thinks it's a copycat because of like certain aspects of it, but she's not entirely sure. So I mean, I'm honestly not sure entirely either, but like I said, I do have theories on like what is happening and who is doing it. But yeah, so this just follows Chloe as she's trying to figure out like, is it actually a copycat murderer? Who's doing it? Is she next? Are they watching her? Stuff like that. And it is super fun. It is really engaging, super easy to get into. But yeah, so we don't have like too many answers, but there are like tricklings of things that they're following. So I do think it's really interesting, and I am excited to continue and see what I think about it in the end. Hello friends, time for an update because a little bit earlier today I finished this book, A Flicker in the Dark. I really enjoyed it. It was not a 5-star for me. I did end up giving it 4 stars, mainly because there was like a twist that I super guessed. Like I guessed that it was gonna happen, so I was just waiting for that to happen. And then once it did, I was like, okay, so it didn't like pack a punch as much as it probably should have. But then there was the final twist where I did not exactly see coming, but because I knew like one of the twists and I kind of was just watching it the entire book, I was kind of like, okay, it's fine. But it was still super entertaining. Our main character, Chloe, was kind of all over the place. Our side characters, they're kind of all unreliable, but I think it's because we're in Chloe's head, so she doesn't necessarily know who to trust. But yeah, in the end, I did enjoy it. Gave it 4 stars. Like I said, it was a fun time. I would recommend it. I know a lot of people guess the plot twist early on, but you know, that just happens when you read a lot of thrillers. So, second book for the vlog done. I do have one more book. It is in the library and I don't feel like getting it right now. But the next book that I will be reading is Things We Do in the Dark. I think it's something like that. The Jennifer Hillier book. But you guys would have just seen it like 10 minutes ago when I did the intro. But that is going to be my next book. And then I'll update you guys whenever I'm 50% into that. So far, it is a successful vlog. So I'm very happy with the picks that I have. But yeah, we'll need to see how that last book goes. And I'll update you guys then. Hello, time for an update because I finally got 50% into Things We Do in the Dark. It took me a little bit to get into, but I am enjoying it now. So we're on part 2. I'm not sure how many parts there are, but part 1 follows like a different character, and so far in part 2 we're following a second character. So I'm not sure if part 3 will switch back to the first one. I feel like we will, but I'm not sure. But anyways, so this book follows 2 people. The first one is Paris, and she's arrested for supposedly killing her husband. And then the second one follows a man named Drew who has a podcast called Things We Do in the Dark, who's covering a different story, but they're not necessarily connected, although I do feel like I do know the connection between the 2. And if I do, that'll kind of be disappointing depending on how it plays out. So we'll need to see. But so far, I think I know the connection between the 2 stories. We'll need to see and wait till the end. So far, I am enjoying it. I will say I am a little bored sometimes because the part 2 is following Drew, who is the podcast person. And he's kind of just running around trying to find information about this person. So it's not super interesting, but I am interested to get back to our other perspective, which is Paris and her supposedly killing her husband. So I am invested, but it's not a new favorite so far, so we'll need to see how it goes. But yeah, so as of now, it's okay. I'm enjoying it enough. Maybe I will finish it today. I don't work tomorrow, so I can stay up all night if I really wanted to. So maybe I'll finish it today, but we'll need to see. But like I said, it's okay so far, and I'll update you guys when I finish it. Hello friends, so quick check-in because last night I actually ended up finishing Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. So overall I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. I wasn't super interested. I did guess the twist and it kind of annoyed me that the reason this all played out was because there were only 2 Filipino characters. Aside from like her family members, like the main 2 characters were just Filipino, and that's how they were able to pull this off. It kind of very much annoyed me that they were just like, oh, they look the same. I'm Filipino. I don't look super Filipino. Having that there kind of annoyed me. I know that the author is Filipino, so like it's not that anything was necessarily wrong with how that culture or anything was portrayed. It was just the fact that that was like what was happening. And then the overall twist I was kind of just okay with. So overall it was okay. Not the best I've ever read, not the worst. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Just is what it is. Nothing like a new favorite. I know lots of people love this book, so that was kind of a disappointment, but that's okay. So with that, we have officially completed this vlog where we read 3 more thrillers from Book of the Month that were all dark covered. So the first one, well, I guess dark covered and hyped. Lots of people love all of these books. So the first one I read was The Night Swim, and this one was a success. I gave it 5 stars. And then I read A Flicker in the Dark, which I gave 4 stars. And then most recently I just finished Things We Do in the Dark, which I gave 3.5 stars. So it was definitely a range. Nothing wrong necessarily with any of them. Some I just enjoyed the story more than others, and that happens. It's okay. So that is it from me today. You can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you like. All of my socials are in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!